my Wizards Dev from the place down there, and it's that time again. One of my favorite video series that we do here on this channel, the State of Standard. What we're going to do, basically, is take a look at the top 5 decks in the current Standard format right this second. Now, number 5 didn't show in the top 8 of Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar, but it's still a very important deck in the format that top 8's an awful lot, and had a pretty big presence at States for what it's worth. Number 5 is Esper Control, the control deck to be in the format. Right now, these colors have a lot of amazing options. We can play the 2 best planeswalkers in the format. We can play Jace and we can play Gideon in this deck in these color combinations. And we just have all the best removal, and there are some really good counter spells in the format despite the loss of Dissolve and a couple of other things, but mostly Dissolve was the big problem. But we've really taken to using Clash of Wills, and Scatter to the Winds isn't as bad as people originally thought it might be. So, Esper Control, still a very important deck, and a deck that some aggro sideboards and even mid-range sideboards are going to be built to beat, because Control gives a lot of people headaches, even though it's not the most important deck in the format. But it has a presence right now, and I think just enough to land it at number 5, because at top 8's still with a lot of consistency. Number 4 is Atarka Aggro. This is definitely the premier aggro deck in the format. This list right here is courtesy of DeRosa, a legendary Magic player, who piloted this into the top 8 at Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar. This is sort of the philosophy of the deck. All we want to do is play a lot of very, very small creatures. You see in this build, only one of our creatures costs more than 1 mana, you know, and we want to either Titan Strength or become immense, ideally, and then Temur Battle Rage something in for a lot of damage, you know. A Monastery Swiftspear, even just that's been hit with a Titan Strength and then Temur Battle Rage does something like 12 damage right there. You know, even creatures like Abbott and Zurgo, they get big too. So the deck just wants to sort of strike out of nowhere. If you leave a single creature unblocked against this deck, you may be in for a lot of pain, and the deck can finish out of nowhere, and it's a really, really fun aggro deck to play. Obviously, we're going to play Atarka's Command in something like this, give our whole team a huge boost, plus our prowess guys. You know, something like Abbott is really, really amazing in this, but for the most part, the overall philosophy is just to catch them on their back foot with a huge play with Temur Battle Rage involved somewhere, usually, you know. Become Immense and Temur Battle Rage, that combination with almost any of our creatures will just instantly win us the game in a lot of situations, especially with fetch lands the way they are in this format right now, you know. Usually, I mean, because of all the fetch lands, a lot of players kind of start the game at 16 or 17 life. So, something like this, you know, just an out-of-nowhere 12 damage shot with the Monastery of Swiftspear can end the game immediately. And you got to respect that out of a deck like this, and Atarka Aggro is definitely the best aggro deck in the format. Number 3 is Green-White Megamorph, a very impactful deck in the format. And this list you're seeing here is by Ricky Chin. He top 8'd at the Pro Tour with this list, and Protector, and a couple of other cards like Hidden Dragon Slayer. And that's the whole reason that you'll drop the black from Abzan and play this instead of getting to play Siege Rhino and Abzan Charm and stuff. But this deck just adds a load of consistency, a load of versatility and resiliency with that Den Protector, by the way, and just has, again, these enormous board states that can seem insurmountable. Number 2, I'm going to give to Abzan. Gets to play Gideon to great effect. And, you know, Anafenza, we see the whole full 4 of Anafenza there against a lot of the strategies in the format that use their graveyard. That's very, very important. The deck also gets to play Siege Rhino, Hangerback Walker, and Abzan Charm, just some of the best cards in the whole format. That's always been Abzan's strategy. Just play the best cards in the format, you know? Which is sort of the common bond between it and number 1. They both play the best cards, unapologetically, you know? But in this deck, I want to point out before we move on, too, that the deck gets to play the full 4 of Warden of the First Tree, which it didn't always do. You'd see 2 and 3 Wardens, you know, but now we're so much more comfortable playing 1-drops in this format now that we don't have really early game great blockers like, you know, Caryatid or Courser of Kruphix, and now we're playing fewer tap lands so that we're able to play this guy on the first turn more consistently. Warden of the First Tree, very, very good at nearly every point of the game, and the deck makes much better use of him now than it ever did before. Same thing goes with Green-White Megamorph, by the way. And number 1, I'm just going to say Jeskai, but if I had to give it to a single deck, it would be Dark Jeskai. Dark Jeskai, piloted, by the way, by both just Magic Legends Owen Turtenwald and OG Magic Legend Hall of Famer John Finkel, both piloted the exact same Dark Jeskai deck to both the top 8 at Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar. This deck is amazing, and again, just plays all the best cards in the format. Crackling Doom, very, very good in this format, and this deck gets a ton of mileage out of Tasigur. The cool thing here is that we can play both Jace and Tasigur in the same deck. That's unbelievable. We're going to be recycling things out of our graveyard constantly to recast them. And obviously Tasigur will help us get back any creatures or anything out of our graveyard, namely Jace or Soulfire. And Jace will be able to recast the spells out of the graveyard. And by the way, that's why Anafenza like super good right now, is because Jace is such an amazing card. And Tasigur for that matter. Just both cards work so well in conjunction with one another. You'll always have something to do. It's a very versatile deck, you know. We have seen other versions of it. Ryochi Tamada, he was able to palliate just a sort of Jeskai mid-range deck all the way to second place at Pro Tour BFZ. And we saw Martin Mueller, that's his name. He was able to do a Jeskai Tokens deck that actually looked really cool. And that also top 8'd. So we saw like 4 Jeskai decks in the top 8 at BFZ, and Jeskai definitely had the best showing at States this year, so I'm going to give it #1. But specifically, I like Dark Jeskai an awful lot, and this list is the list that was piloted by both Finkel and Turtenwald. Again, 2 of the best Magic players of all time, and I think they know what they're talking about, to be honest with you. The deck is just amazing. We also make really good use out of Kolagon's command in this deck. Again, versatility is key. The deck does everything it needs to do to cover the game at nearly every point of the game, and once we get into the late game, we can just do a lot of crazy stuff. And that is the State of Standard for October going into November 2015. We've got a few months still until, you know, Oath of the Gatewatch comes out, so this format has a long time to develop. That's plenty of time for a lot of new decks to pop up. There are a lot of fun things in the format people are talking about. Aristocrats is sort of an up-and-coming deck depending on how you build it. Mardu Aristocrats, Black-Green Aristocrats, both very good builds. Rally the Ancestors is still out there. 5-color Bring to Light is an important deck. Blue-White Control is making a lot of good showings at certain tournaments. So there's a lot of good decks in the format right now. These, I think, are the top 5, but the format is very diverse. Although the sort of common bonds that you see are always going to be Jace and Gideon, probably the 2 most important cards in the format right now. That's all I got. I hope you enjoyed this content right here of ours. Go ahead and like, hit the thumbs up, share this video, comment. We want to know how you feel. Maybe we missed something. Or subscribe if you haven't done that yet. We just passed 10,000. We want to get to 300,000. So help us out with that, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching, my wizards.